Welcome. My name is Greg Jankowski, and I'm going to be talking about getting started in the new SOLIDWORKS forums. So a couple things. First thing that you should always do when you come in here is log in. Number of reasons why you want to do that. You want to be able to participate, ask questions, answer questions, and be able to see what you've read and not read. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. If you don't have an account, you can click the link and say, create one today. If you forgot your password, you can get to that right here. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And you can see now I'm logged in. I also have an indicator. I've got 3 items available. We'll get to that later. So just in general, navigation. So some of the navigation, there's a separate item webinar video on each one on the inbox. So I'm not going to cover that one. But if you're looking for content, people, or places, this is the place to go. Also, this is your profile. That's also another video. Search, if you want to search, you can just start clicking in the box. And even before I start putting anything in here, I can see frequently viewed items. I can see items that are recently viewed by me or bookmarked. Again, good reason for me to log in. So if I'm just looking for something here, let's just say I started to want to see something about installing eDrawings. I can very easily scan the results, or I can go ahead and show me everything. So I'm going to say, go ahead. I'm just going to hit the enter here and show all the results. So now I'm going to go to the search results page. And in the search results page, you can see some people that are places that are relative to this. You'll see some of the answers here. You'll also see a lot of options here on the left side to filter the results by content type. Also, whether it's a blog, whether it's an idea, discussion. You can limit it by author, places. The other ones I find very interesting are within the last 90 days, 1 year. You can also sort from newest to oldest. If you're looking for more search tips, there's a little search tip button here that talks to you a little bit more about how to search wildcard characters, those sort of things. So a little bit more on the home page. So we talked about just navigating at the top here, and just a couple things here before I'm done. I can look at content, and you look at the filters over here on the left, especially when I'm logged in. If I want to see things I've authored, I can easily see that. Participated in, following, that'll be a different forum video here. Same thing within places or people. And I can see things I'm followed, people that are following me, recently viewed, and recommended people. And under places, there's 2 different types of places. There's what's called a space, and there's what's called a group. A space is a topic. It's like general, import, export, documentation, and training. It's one of the topical pieces within the forums. We use that for organization. And groups are primarily user groups. So you'll see a lot of the different user groups in your area, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. So a little bit more on the home page. If you're looking to navigate, you can see that the structure's been updated, made it simpler, flatter. So if I'm looking for items on Composer, I can go right here, and this goes right to that space. And you'll see spaces have a similar layout with quick links here on the side, ask a question, recent content, unanswered questions, some of our frequently asked questions. So this just allows you to very simply navigate in between, just using the where to at the home page. Also at the top here, you're going to see some other calls to action. One's just about, if you just want to learn about how to get started, you'll actually find this video embedded in here, but it talks a little bit about that. I mentioned recent discussions. So one of the reasons why I want to log in, if I want to just see overall what's happening within the whole community, I can very simply get a list of all the, and it defaults to discussions, which is about 95% of the content. And if you've read something, it will not appear bold anymore, just like when you do an Outlook. And you can also still filter by things you've authored, participated in, following. I'll talk about user groups in a separate section, but you'll also see there's an ask a question here. If you do have a question, same thing, install eDrawings. I'll get a bunch of answers here. I can type in one of those. I'm going to copy this actually, because when I come back it'll be gone. But if I go into something and I view it, and let's say this is what I'm looking for, that's fine. But you can also say no, take me back, or search the whole community. I can also go ahead and just say ask it. Depending on where you are, it may ask you to say what kind of question do you have. In this case, I have an e-drawing question, so I would pick e-drawings, and then I'm right inside the e-drawings area, and it saves my text. So if you have a question in any of the areas, you're always going to find this have a question widget here. The recent content, just recent content with the community. Show more content takes me right back, and you'll see this in all the different spaces. At the top level, it shows you all the content, and you can see it directly to the recent discussions. And even if I was in one of these spaces, you'll find the same thing, show more discussions, or at the bottom of the recent content widget, you'll see the show more discussions here. The difference here is now I'm in the administration space, and I'm showing just the recent discussions inside that space. And you can see this is one I've actually viewed. So just a little bit more about some of the spaces, and I'll go into a different space. You'll see when you're in a space, you're going to see some quick links, like I'm in the API area, so there's a link to the online help, examples, API support, and all the recent content to show more than just what's shown here. Same thing I mentioned before about ask a question. This will ask a question right in the API section, and we always are going to be featuring unanswered questions. So you'll see they're different colors here. Blue means it's not answered. Green means it has an answer marked, and I'll go into those. And if it's just white, it means it's not a question. So let's go into one that actually has an answer. So if you've asked the question, and this is a long question, but at the end there's actually someone gave the right answer. So if you've asked the question, or if you're one of the administrators, you can actually go ahead and you'll see it. This is the right answer. So if someone does take the time to answer one of your questions and you've asked it, go ahead and make sure you mark the one that's actually the correct one for others to easily find, because if they're looking through here, it's very easy for them to see what the correct answer was. So yeah, a couple of the things in spaces. So you'll see there'll be an activity tab, a little different view of what's going on, and you get a simplified view of what's actually happening. There isn't unread content in here. You can like and reply directly to it. And just like in the main area, each area has a content area, people that have joined it, and if there are subspaces, they'll be shown here also. And if you want to get more information, that we'll talk about follow in a separate video, but you can very easily follow anything, and that'll appear within your inbox and connection streams. So last thing I want to show is just groups. So groups are a little different than spaces in the fact that they're more of a membership base, and we use them, like I said, primarily for user groups. You can follow this, you can join groups. If user groups are having meetings, many of the groups are starting to put calendars up and meeting invites, and if you are a member of the group, you need to join the group, but you can actually say whether you're attending or not. And with that, that is our getting started video.